It is urgent to avoid a situation of unprecedented injustice in developed democracies, as foreign investors are compensated by drastic retroactive cuts. National investors do not have any type of compensation for the same losses. Of the 52 international plaintiffs, 26 already have a favorable final award, which means, to date, a disbursement of €2,000 million for the Spanish state, in addition to the discredit of applying retroactive cuts in an essential regulated sector, which, after undergoing arbitration processes, already surpasses Russia and Venezuela as the country with the greatest non-compliance with arbitration rulings. The United Kingdom, Australia, Belgium and the United States have already initiated legal procedures to guarantee these investors their rights against Spain. 15 years ago, the Spanish state launched itself to promote the installation of renewable energy sources, with the intention of combating the climate emergency and initiating an energy transition towards an electrical and renewable model, in which our country has important competitive advantages. Due to its territory, its sun and its wind, it avoided the enormous energy dependence from abroad, which weighed down our trade balance. The primary objective of this state decision was to mature renewable technologies and launch an innovative technological industrial fabric. The result has been as expected. Spain is a leader in penetration of renewable energy, its solar and wind industry or an international reference. A decisive step has been taken in the ecological transition, and the price that families and companies have to pay for energy in Spain has fallen to unthinkable levels. Thanks to the new production of clean energy, there are even many days of the year that record hours at zero or negative prices. This extraordinary energy transition will only be successfully completed when a fair, definitive and equal solution is agreed upon for those who mobilize the capital that was necessary to drive this momentous process. International investors and the 65,000 pioneering Spanish photovoltaic families, who allocated their savings and mortgaged their homes to launch the first installations, which were essential for the decarbonization process to get underway. The process of development and implementation of renewables in our country was promoted in 2007, but just 2 years after these facilities were launched, a discrediting process began against them that had as the expected culmination a carousel of retroactive cuts that have meant decreases of up to 50% of expected income. In those years, it was pointed out that renewables were very expensive and a burden for the electrical system and the consumer, without stating that this effort of the past few years currently represents savings of much greater magnitude, advantages that are here to stay, very cheap electrical energy, energy independence and competitive advantages in our economy. The pioneer producers were also blamed for the tariff deficit, which already existed and was growing at an alarming rate before the implementation of these facilities took place, a misinformation that served to justify the greatest abuse of an administration towards its citizens, whom it called on to invest their savings in accordance with rules that were published in the official state gazette and disseminated in a campaign by the ministry itself. International investors did not see it convenient to go to Spanish justice, as the nationals inevitably had to do, in which cases they lost any possibility of reparation in the face of arguments by the state that did not seem acceptable in the World Bank Court of Arbitration in Washington, an instance in which foreign investors attended en masse and in which they are achieving favorable rulings, which condemn the Spanish state to repair the damages suffered by these retroactive regulatory changes. Do Spanish families deserve not to be recognized for their transformational work? Do national families deserve justice? At Ampere, We think that it is not difficult or very expensive to repair the mistakes made so that our energy transition can be considered truly fair and fully successful.